Hey everybody, Jam Creates here. Got another comic book review for you. This one is Blood Realm Shadowed Kingdom Part 2. This is Blood Realm Volume 2, Issue 2. This is another 3-issue limited series from Alterna Comics and Robert Geronimo. Um, you may have seen, if you've been following the channel for a while, I reviewed the first series, which was a 3-issue series, Shadowed Kingdom. No, this is Shadowed Kingdom. Oh, I don't remember. So annoying. So anyway, you would think I would look these things up before I start the videos, but I don't. So anyway, again, that's the level of research that you expect from my video. Wow, this just looked like an old ECW promo for a minute there. I was like doing the whoa thing. Anyone who remembers that, like, good on you. So anyway, this is the second series. So if you have read the first series, this will add to your enjoyment. If you have, but brilliantly, the way he wrote this, the way he set this up, if you didn't read the first series, it doesn't matter. You can still read this one, and it's fine. So anyway, again, Alterna Comics, everything is $1.50. You can't go wrong. You can get this entire series, 3 issues, for $1.50 each. Seriously? That's less than like one book from some of the major publishers now. So again, if you don't know, Alterna Comics prints all their stuff on newsprint. So let's get into it. Let's get to the credits first. Creator, writer, artist, and letterer, Robert Geronimo. He is a one-man band on this one. He does everything. Which is really pretty impressive considering he put out the last series last year, and then this series, like, he's got 2 3-issue series. I mean, this one's not finished yet. There's still one more issue to come out, but I'm gonna assume it's probably already done. Dude is just cranking out good stuff, and like, he's got such a cool, unique art style. Like, I mean, so we'll get into it. So when we last left our story, there was an army. Well, an army. It was a squad of Satrian warriors, which are the like the goat people, basically, for lack of a better term, in this medieval fantasy world, very dark fantasy world. They had one sorcerer with them. Every squad apparently has a sorcerer with them. It's just a thing that they do. And they were sent to find a missing battalion of soldiers, and what they found was the soldiers had been turned into monsters or killed, and they found this like hole in the ground that leads to something, so they're going down there. So what happens is there's like literally an entire city below the ground here that had sunk into the ground beneath the Hollow Fortress. That's where they had gone, to the Hollow Fortress, which was once a fortress of humans that was taken over. There's so much lore in Blood Realm that, like, if you know it, it's cool, but you don't have to know it either. He supplies it to you, and you can kind of like take or leave as much of it as you want. I personally just really enjoy it, so I kind of soak it all in. And it's very different from almost anything else that's on the stands right now, honestly. Like, the artwork is completely different from anything else you'd see on the stands. It just has this crazy weird feeling of like I'm reading some sort of ancient scroll or something. Like, I feel like I'm reading ancient texts that were discovered, and they're explaining this history of a world that we never knew existed. If that makes any kind of sense to you, then awesome. You understood what the heck I was saying. So they decided to go down. When we left, they decided to go down into this hole, and they found this city below, and it turns out it's this city named Arcos that had sunken into the ground. It was basically cursed. And the legion that was sent there, like I said, they turned into monsters. This squad decided to go down and try to investigate. So they tell you the history. You see here, like, there's lots of words because there's lots of lore, but none of it is boring. It's not like you're reading, like, some comics you read that have a lot of words and you're like, ugh, I don't know. It's just so interesting. Like, there's so much there. Like, this guy, like, Robert Geronimo must have spent so much time building this world in his mind and on paper, of course, before writing these stories. It's absolutely insane the amount of stuff that's here. Like, he keeps putting out these 3-issue series, and I understand it because he's the one guy doing absolutely everything in the book. But dude, like, how much is there to mine in this world? Like, that's what I'm like. There's got to be so much to mine from this world that I hope he continues to just keep putting out these stories that take place in this world. I love it. I love learning more about this world. I love seeing more of this world. It's so unique. It's so dark. It's so oppressive. It's so, like, gross, for lack of a better term, at certain points. There's this giant statue, and we find out about this guy named Chiron Morvel, who was the father of the Iron Wolves. They were basically like a humans who they had to take on this archdemon, and now he actually fell to the archdemon, but then eventually, because of him, they were able to turn the tide and destroy the archdemon. But then the people in this city began to worship the archdemon and perform disgusting, like, human sacrifices and stuff. So then here, while they're down there, like, they give you this, and then all of a sudden they get attacked by those creatures. There's more of those creatures. And so they're battling with these disgusting creatures again, like the people had been turned into. And, like, look at this. Like, this is what I mean when I say, like, gross. Like, this dude's intestines are getting ripped out. Like, it's like aliens in medieval fantasy, and at the same time, it's like something. It's so hard to explain my love. Like, it's not hard for me to explain why I love this series, but if you were to ask me, like, what is this series, the best I could do to sum it up would be, it is dark fantasy horror would be the best way I could think of to describe it. And these events, if you haven't read the first book, it's okay. The first series, it's okay, because these events are taking place concurrently with the events of the first series, which is brilliant because you're not missing on anything. You don't need to know what happened in the first series to understand what's happening here. One has nothing to do with the other, really. I mean, they are related, but it's not, it's different. So anyway, things are going very badly for our team here. Until the sorcerer uses his magic, and then see, I'm getting into, you know how I feel about spoilers. Not a fan of giving away spoilers. So he uses his magic, and then, anything you've ever heard when there's, like, a lot of time, well, not everything, but a lot of times when you hear things about magic, you always hear that there's, like, a price to pay for using magic. And our sorcerer here uses this magic to save the squad, but at the same time, he does pay a price for it. And I don't want to show, like, everything. Yeah, I don't want to show, like, the end. So I'm going to kind of do one of these deals. I'm going to block the last page because I don't want to give that away. But there's kind of a cliffhanger at the end. Something happens to our sorcerer hero guy. But then again, at the end of every issue, I don't want to ruin it. I want you to read it for yourself. If you're reading it, I want you to read it for yourself because it's like, oh snap, things just went from bad to worse. I love he always puts a map in every issue. At the back of the issue, he puts a map in, and you can see the route that they took to the Hollow Fortress. You can see, like, this is where they started in the Kingdom of Satria. They crossed the Tark River, the Ashen Forest, past the Isle of Ghoul, and then up to the Hollow Fortress, and that's where they are now. The Ember Province, you've learned about that. That is where the magicians come from, the sorcerers come from. The previous story, the previous series takes place here in Voragoth, the Eyeless Canyons, and places in there. So there's lots of other worlds still to explore. And then he also always does, at the end of every issue, he gives you just this lore that's pertains to the issue you're in. It generally kind of just expands more your understanding of the things that you saw in the issue. So in this, it explains the demon that the Iron Wolves had to fight. It explains this area called the Tether that exists according to the mages of the Ember Province. So anyway, once again, I just love this series. I look forward to every issue of this series. It's so quick because it's only 3 issues. The first series was only 3 issues. This series is only 3 issues. So it's quick. It's in. It's out. And it has absolutely won me over. The first series completely won me over. So I'm still hooked. I am still down for any of this. Anything that Robert's going to do with this world, I am going to be there for. So if he puts out another series after this series finishes, which has only got 1 more issue, and then this series is done. So if he puts out a volume 3 of Blood Realm, you best believe that I will be there for it. And again, dude, $1.50 from Alterna Comics for these books. It's a 3-issue series. $1.50, that's $4.50 to read the entire series. I mean, how could you go wrong? $4.50, that's less than some entire books just for like 1 book. You can get an entire series for less than the cost of 1 book from some other publishers. And they look great, especially like the way Blood Realm's art works. It absolutely just sings on the newsprint. It just adds to it. So anyway, again, another great issue. I absolutely am in love with this series 100%. So definitely go check it out. If you haven't, go track down the first series if you can. If you can't, at least track down issues 1 and 2. 2 just came out. So track down issue 1 and 2 of this series, and then when 3 comes out, pick that up. I wholeheartedly recommend it. So anyway, I'm definitely looking forward to see how this thing wraps up, because it's going to be some big stuff to happen in that final issue. So anyway, and if you remember how the first series went, that second and third issue, holy smokes, did a lot happen in those issues. Packed with stuff, crazy stuff. So anyway, definite recommend. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. And yes, you are awesome. You can hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any videos. And follow me on Twitter. I'm at jam_creates. Follow me on Instagram at jam_creates. Mostly pics of my dog and my artwork on there. So anyway, that's it. You feel free. You want to interact with me? Comment below, man. I love seeing comments. I try to answer every single comment that I get, because I don't get that many. So I pretty much will answer, unless there's literally nothing for me to say. I will absolutely answer. I mean, I have one guy who comments, and I love him. He comments on every single one of my videos. All he ever says is, nice job. I love it. And every single time I try to answer him, I say thank you. I love it. His name is Jack Joya. He comments on every one of my videos. He says, nice job. And I love it. My daughter was joking with me. She goes, the day he says great job, you're going to feel like you've really accomplished something. I was like, you know what? You're right. So anyway, comment. I love to talk with you guys. So anyway, I will talk to you guys soon. I'll have more comic reviews coming. More Alterna books. I'm planning on doing a old school comics. I haven't done one of those in a long time, so I think I'm going to do one of those soon. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.